I think for me, engaging the super hyper extreme liberal isn't really my strong point. I tend to be better working with the people who are more in the middle, the ones who are willing to engage and discuss ideas. However, this last Saturday, I had an opportunity to meet a flaming leftist at the gym, and he struck up a conversation with me. And before I knew it, he was telling me about his life, his growing up years in this really rough neighborhood in San Francisco, and how it was the white cops who were keeping everybody down, and how he had to fight for everything that he had, but he was just determined he wasn't going to stay there, and that his dad taught him that he needed to take responsibility for himself, and blah, blah, blah. And so it was really kind of funny because I had a lot in common with him on those points. You know, I'd worked with high-risk youth. I had worked in neighborhoods not quite that rough, but close to it. And I agreed with him that personal responsibility is the most important thing. So fast forwarding 45 minutes, you know, by the time the conversation was over, I hadn't convinced him on anything, but I learned a lot in the conversation, just listening and then asking him a few questions and just getting his perspective on some things, which I think will help equip me going forward. But the really funny thing was that when he started going off about how white men just hate Obama because he's black, I had built enough rapport with him in the previous 40 minutes that he actually listened to me when I said, hold on just a minute, that's where I disagree. Because just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean that you hate them. The problem is that they feel that you know, we have disagreements on how to implement those laws. We agree, we want to help the poor people. We want kids to get outside and play and eat healthy, but the problem is that we don't believe that the federal government should be telling people how to do that. And then I said, let me ask you something. Do you think, because you know it's so important that we have fathers in the household, and I agree with you, do you think that because of all these big government programs that are out there, that a lot of people have seen the government take the place of the father or the husband in the home? And he was kind of speechless. But I know that it made him think. And so no, I didn't win any big political debate on Saturday, but I was able to build a relationship, however short. And Andy wants to say something. Go ahead.
Look, here's the bottom line. Cori is not naturally given to that area, that kind of debate. But just by being around people who are, Cori has gotten very good at it. I agree, we all have our different gifts, but we need to train each other. Just like Cori has trained me and made me much better at talking to people who are not hardline or whatever. You know, I'm used to bomb throwing. Okay, I'm used to, bayonet wielding, and I want to see blood on my sword. I'm not used to talking to people at dinner parties. And she's actually domesticated me. Yeah, I'm into nukes, and I think we conservatives need to learn from each other more too. Yeah, we have our gifts, but we can also grow from hearing each other. Cori talked to this guy who was an activist, and she beat him handily, quite honestly, and reached him at the same time.
Right, because I listened a lot more than I talked, because I knew I couldn't pick him apart the way Andy would, and I knew that limitation of mine. And so in my case, knowing my limitation, I was able to become the good guy by listening, by asking questions, and then finding some areas of agreement, because we really did have some areas of agreement. I care passionately about inner city kids and education, just like he does.